Hello and welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines where you are. With the Thames Valley hotter than Spain and Greece, health alerts are issued to stay safe in the heat as care homes work to keep residents protected.
We ensure that they're sitting in the shade. We give people lots of extra fluids so they don't get dehydrated.
The Inquest hears how a 19-year-old man was killed by a falling tree as he was walking in a park in Oxford. Flowers line the path where Alexander Kippax died.
Also on the programme, fears that thousands have contracted hepatitis C after travelling abroad this summer. The free home testing kit that can lead to early detection and cure.
And how some have been keeping cool on what is one of the hottest days of the year. Good evening. With the Thames Valley in the midst of a late summer heatwave and temperatures hotter than Ibiza and Athens, we're being urged to look out for the elderly, the young and to keep animals cool.
An amber heat warning is in place for the rest of the week and through the weekend, meaning high temperatures could affect the vulnerable and impact the health service.
Well, after such a wet summer, many have been making the most of the sunshine, but others have been trying to keep their cool. Nikki Woodcock reports from Oxford.
With temperatures in the low 30s, they're seeking the shade at this care home in Oxford. The amber heat health alert means there's an increased risk to anyone over the age of 65 and those with respiratory and cardiovascular diseases.
We know that as we all get older, it's harder for our bodies to regulate temperature, and it's particularly so for people with dementia who often don't have the capacity to make decisions themselves about drinking enough or what to wear or staying out of the sun. So we have to be really conscious of that.
With the high temperatures here to stay, extra measures are being taken to keep residents safe.
We ensure that they're sitting in the shade. We give people lots of extra fluids so they don't get dehydrated. We have a paddling pool and some residents quite like putting their feet in that when it's a really hot day. And also ice lollies are quite good, so people enjoy an ice lolly and it's another way to get fluid.
At this farm in Kidlington, they're being extra careful with their water use. It's not connected to the mains water supply and relies solely on groundwater, rainwater and the nearby brook.
So we're now harvesting all the rainwater on the farm. That's all accessible in an emergency. We can either pipe that directly to the chicken houses or we can collect it in buckets and take it around where we need it. So we've sort of got a self-sufficient system. The last 5 years have got worse. 2 years ago the bore well actually ran dry for a short while, the water table dropped, so we actually had no water for a short period. That was repeated again last year. So yeah, it focuses the mind when you have less of a commodity, and I've worked a little bit previously prior to farming in the UK and seen parts of West Africa where they use irrigation, and water's very valuable. I think we're starting to enter an era where that's going to be the case for the UK.
At the University of Reading's observatory, the temperature is constantly monitored, providing crucial data about our climate.
Since the Industrial Revolution, heat waves are 30 times more likely, and we are associating that with climate change. We're pretty much increasing more and more energy into the atmosphere, and that's resulting in more extreme weather events. And they might occur more often, or you might have the same number, but the days actually will just be hotter.
The Newbury Lido recently reopened. It's the last dose of summer for these swimmers.
It's just really lovely having a place outside where you can sit in the sun and jump in the pool.
Oh, it's fantastic, especially for the little one, to be able to cool off and have fun, get outside.
Those who enjoy the heat are making the most of it while it lasts, as conditions are expected to cool down next week. Nikki Woodcock, ITV News.
We'll have more on the hot weather later in the programme, and Philippa will be here with the forecast and tell us how long this weather will last.
In other news, some children at a school in Abingdon have returned to pandemic-style home learning because of concerns over rack concrete found in its buildings. Some classes at Larkmead Secondary School are being taught at home. Other pupils are being rotated, with some classrooms unavailable. Oxfordshire County Council says it's helping the academy schools source temporary classrooms. Meanwhile, two other schools in Oxfordshire, Wallingford School and Hardwick School in Banbury, also have buildings affected by RAC but remain open to all students.
Fire officers are to meet with people in Basingstoke whose flats were destroyed in a fire and those who live in other similar buildings who've raised concerns. More than 80 firefighters tackled the fire in Oakridge Road in May, which destroyed or damaged the homes of 24 families. It could be a year before many are able to return. Local MP Maria Miller says she has been contacted by residents concerned about the speed at which the fire spread and whether safety works are needed in similar blocks nearby. Firefighters have agreed to hold drop-in sessions to update people on the progress of their investigation.
Next, an inquest has heard how a 19-year-old man was killed when he was hit by a falling tree as he was walking in a park in Oxford.
Alexander Kippax died in King George's playing field near Botley Road. Our reporter Natalie Verney was at the inquest opening and sent this from the park.
It was here that Alex was struck by the tree nearly 3 weeks ago. It happened in the early evening of the 18th of August. And you can see there's some tape that's been placed around an area of trees here and some flowers still remain that have been placed by his family and friends. I can see one is from his cousin. It says, "We miss you so much. We made so many lovely and funny memories together. You've been taken away far too early." This would have obviously come as a huge shock to those who knew him. After all, there are questions to be asked. Questions about how this could happen. How can a tree just fall on someone and kill them? After all, this is a public pathway that's often used by many of the locals. And that's why an inquest was opened today to find out how this could happen. It was just a brief formality at Oxford Coroner's Court earlier. We did learn, though, that Alex had just been taking a walk when he was hit by a tree. It caused traumatic head injuries. That's what's killed him, and he died at the scene. The inquest has now been adjourned to the 28th of February. That's so further investigations can take place. In the meantime, a GoFundMe page has been set up by family members to help raise money for his funeral. Natalie Verney, ITV News, Oxford.
The massive disruption at Heathrow over the August bank holiday was caused by a 1 in 15 million technical glitch, according to a report. A quarter of flights were cancelled due to a fault at the National Air Traffic Service. Its chief executive said its systems failed after a flight plan wasn't processed. It meant the number of flights being handled dropped from 400 an hour to just 60. The report by NATS found safety was never compromised.
Network Rail says it still plans to make use of the 24-hour permission it has to carry out works on Botley Road in Oxford to keep upgrades to the railway station on schedule. The road has been closed since April for £160 million of improvements. Plans to carry out work overnight from last weekend was halted due to concerns from local residents with the noisiest piling work carried out during the day. But Network Rail says once the road can be dug up, quieter work will still take place 24 hours at a later date.
A decision will be made over whether council land will be leased to Oxford United to build a new football stadium near Kidlington within the next 2 weeks. The club wants to build a new 16,000 capacity stadium along with a new hotel on the site south of Kidlington roundabout known as the Triangle. More than 5,000 people have responded to a consultation over whether the plans meet the council's criteria, including maintaining a green barrier and improving local sports facilities. Fewer than half of people living within 2 miles of the proposed site thought it did. A decision will be made over leasing the land on the 19th.
You're watching ITV News Meridian here in the Thames Valley. Thank you so much for watching us. Still to come on our programme.
Twin Peak, the man preparing to take on the challenge of a lifetime to raise money for the charity that helped his brother.
And after another scorcher of a day, just where is the hot weather coming from and is there any end in sight? I'll be back later with the details.
And remember, for more news from right across the region, please head to our website, itv.com/Meridian. You can call us. Our number's on the screen for you now. It's 0808 1010 095. And remember, you can follow us on our social media outlets.
Now, it's feared thousands of people may have unknowingly contracted the Hepatitis C virus while travelling abroad this summer to have cosmetic or dental work or have a holiday tattoo or piercing. Experts say they may have been at risk of infection if equipment wasn't sterilised or hygiene measures weren't followed.
Well, hepatitis C can lead to life-threatening conditions like liver cancer or even liver failure. Experts are urging people to take a free at-home test to see if they have hepatitis C. Here's Kevin Ashford.
For millions, it's been a summer of travel, but it's feared many people may have been at risk from hepatitis C infection through having procedures like tattoos or cut-price cosmetic and dental work abroad in unhygienic conditions. It's thought Moga Lumali was infected 25 years ago in Sri Lanka while having hospital treatment there following a motorbike accident while on holiday. But he didn't find out until earlier this year when he went to hospital here following a fall.
They were telling me hepatitis C and everything. I was acknowledging that, and then when they said to cirrhosis of the liver, I went morbid. I went, oh, that's it, I'm done. My bucket list. I got to the bucket list. I goes, what haven't I done? And that's all I'm thinking of. You know, they're talking to me, but I've zoned out. I'm going, bucket list. What haven't I done in my bucket list?
Mo's now managing his condition and works to raise awareness of hepatitis C. It's feared a lack of public knowledge of the blood-borne virus, which if untreated can lead to liver failure or liver cancer, may be increasing people's risk of infection. In a survey, 74.5% of people in the Meridian region who were questioned said they had little or no knowledge of hepatitis C. 69.8% said they had little or no idea how it was spread, and 26.1% said they didn't realise you could have the virus without knowing it.
Make sure that when you're having the tattoo, that the place that you're going, you know, A, is registered, that they adhere to health standards, and they're using new needles. You know, I think that we have a culture now whereby, you know, who did your Botox, who did your new teeth, you know, and it's great, it's fantastic. But you need to make sure that where you're going follows safe procedures.
In there is everything that you'll need to do the test.
The public's being urged to get tested for hepatitis C with a free NHS at-home kit to try to detect the estimated 70,000 people who have the virus but don't know it.
It is simple treatment that is taken, and the key thing is, as well, is that there are limited or no side effects. And I think that's really important for people to know, that you're not just treating, you're aiming to cure and eliminate the virus in your body, but also that we're aiming for that to happen with minimal or no symptoms.
And the earlier that treatment starts, experts say, the better the predicted outcome. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
The ITV Evening News continues with the national and international stories at 6:30. With the details for us tonight is Mary Nightingale.
Coming up in the ITV Evening News, who knew what and when? Pressure grows on the Prime Minister over the school's concrete crisis. The father and stepmother of Sarah Sharif are seen for the first time since the 10-year-old's death. Here, temperatures soar as the UK is hit by a September heatwave, and they are back. The Rolling Stones announced their first new album in 7 years. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Mary, thank you. Now, decades worth of historic TV footage is being made available to view at local libraries free of charge following a huge archiving project.
Yes, they've been copied and turned into a digital format so it can be stored and accessed online. With more, Grace Williams.
Let the people in! Let the people in!
Another piece of history saved by the Wessex Film and Sound Archive, home to moments like these from across the region. And some of the collection is now being made available to a wider audience thanks to a project called BFI Replay, where 100,000 pieces of video from over the years and from around the country are digitised. That is, copied from tape into a form that can be stored on a computer.
There's no reason not to have a happy, bug-free New Year. Cheers.
This is the oldest one. This is 2-inch tape.
Over the years, videotape has seen many formats, and that has presented its own problems.
All of these different kinds of videotapes require different types of machinery to play them, and that's why they're at risk, because those machines are not being made anymore, and it's very difficult to get parts for those machines. And so it's really important to digitise these videos while that machinery is still operational, and so that we can preserve all the programmes and video content that's on all of these thousands of tapes.
We've got a lot of archive material, including community films and regional programmes, and by working with BFI we've been able to digitise that and make it available to people at all 40 of our Hampshire libraries.
The BFI Replay Archive is available to view for free at public libraries across the country.
It'll be there for the real TV buffs who are doing research, and then just people for leisure browsing, to reminisce, to explore. And I'm really hoping that actually we can use it, ourselves to sort of have some interesting talks and discussions in the library as well.
Libraries wanting to offer the free service, which is already up and running, will need to register with the BFI. Grace Williams, ITV News.
Love things like that. But we were just saying 1990 doesn't seem that long ago.
How can 1990 be history?
10 years ago.
It's ridiculous. Right, let's talk about the sport. Andrew Pate is here. Patey, so we're getting overexcited, but we're kind of on our way to Wembley, aren't we?
We have to get overexcited.
Yes.
It's part of my job. Yes, we are certainly hoping that we're going to go to Wembley. Supporters of Oxford United and Crawley, they'll be dreaming of a trip to Wembley after their teams had a great start in the EFL Trophy in what was an action-packed and record-breaking night.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
A night to remember for Louis Griffiths, becoming Oxford United's youngest ever player, having turned 16 on Sunday. The U's giving him a late birthday present with this win, which saw Mark Harris equalise, before Kyle Edwards finished off a fine move with a rocket of a shot. Mark Harris rounding off a great night for Oxford and a great start to their EFL Trophy journey. Crawley boss Scott Lindsay said his team played brilliant football in their win over League One side Charlton Athletic, taking the lead through Harry Forster after just 41 seconds. Crawley fell behind twice, but kept battling back, a header from Clady Lolos, and then great strikes from Nick Zarula and Rafe Khalil, ensuring a highly entertaining win. In tennis, congratulations to Lucy Schucker, who's had her first ever win at the US Open 10 years after making her debut. The 43-year-old from Wimborne in Dorset beat number 7 seed Manami Tanaka. The British number 1 now faces a tough task against world number 1 Didi de Groot. Southampton Football Club have been celebrating the achievements of 28 young women who've completed the Premier League Changemakers programme. It's an initiative which helps women with leadership, confidence and teamwork. Saints players Gemma Purfield and Ella Morris were on hand to present the certificates. Now, a man from Sussex is preparing to climb Mount Kilimanjaro to raise money for the charity that's helped his twin brother who has cerebral palsy. Paul Pay from Hassock says it will be tough, but nothing compared to the challenges his twin Lee has to face every day. Here's Tom Savides.
These are the sticks that are extendable, so they sort of slot together like that.
In a few days' time, Paul Pay will leave his home in Hassocks and travel to Tanzania to begin his trek up Mount Kilimanjaro.
So that's quite a vital piece of kit, really.
He's doing it to raise money for the charity that helped his identical twin brother Lee, who has cerebral palsy.
For my brother, you know, he faces challenges every day of his life. My challenge will last for 10 days and then I'm back to normal. But I am so in awe of Lee and absolutely can't believe how he faces life.
Paul is preparing to climb to the summit of Kilimanjaro, which is almost 6,000 metres high. That's just under 20,000 feet.
That is a lot of climbing.
Lee is extremely proud of his brother.
What a fantastic brother I've got to do such a thing for me and for the school.
The money raised from the climb will go to the Chailey Heritage Foundation near Haywards Heath, which helped Lee as a child. The charity provides education and care services for children and young people with complex neurodisabilities.
All of our young people here are wheelchair users. Most of them are non-verbal. So what we do is try and unlock their potential.
Paul Pay is taking on a mountainous challenge to recognise those who work with disabled children. Tom Savides, ITV News, Hassocks.
Huge challenge, but brotherly love will spur Paul on, no doubt.
Just brilliant.
Absolutely. Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, back to the amazing weather we've had this week, and where better to head to on a beautiful day like this than a Lido.
Yes, Saltdean Lido has undergone a major refurbishment to the Grade 2 listed building, and it's been packed with people making the most of the sunshine. James Dunham is there for us this evening. I'm sure straight after this live hit is going to jump straight in the pool. James.
I really wish I could. I've forgotten my shorts, and I certainly won't put you in front of my hairy legs, Martin Sangeet, or people at home for that matter. But look, hundreds of people enjoying this glorious sunshine. The weather has finally got the memo, and on the final day of the summer season here at the Lido, people have been dipping their toes in, going for a good swim, making the most of the 26-degree temperatures that we've seen today. And everyone that I've been speaking to has really praised this asset here on the local community, because it's a place where they can come to enjoy themselves after a long day at work. The kids as well, once they finish school, back to school. They didn't get much of a chance to swim here because the weather was so horrible in the summer, but now they're making the most of it.
Well, we just got to get out and enjoy it when it is sunshine like this, haven't we? It's a shame the kids have gone back to school, but nice it's quiet here now though.
It's a glorious day, and it's the last day before my son goes back to school. So yeah, summer holidays coming to an end, but with style, hopefully.
I was working this morning, so this is an escape to come down with my family just for a couple of hours, and then we'll go to the beach as well. So it's great because you've got this facility, which is brilliant, and then you've got the sea just there.
I've been coming here since a child, so yeah, absolutely love it. This is a gem for us at Saltdean, and it's amazing.
Secretly, I jump up and down with joy, but you try and keep yourself calm and calculate when you come here. But it's great to see those kind of weather forecasts, thinking that's good for us. And the key thing is that people come along and they enjoy themselves, and it's a good time for them.
And they absolutely are. The final piece of the puzzle to the Lido here is this Art Deco building constructed back in the 1930s. It needs restoration after the Lido shut in 2010. Let's talk now to Derek Chester, who is part of the community group that came and saved this from flats. It's been a huge labour of love to get this to where it is today.
It really has. The building is actually 80 years old this year, and it was made from reinforced concrete. So it gave it an amazing design, lots of sweeping lines, but the problem is facing the sea. So we've had to take everything right back to basics, renewed all the steelwork, concrete to give people access.
Fantastic stuff. Derek, thank you very much for that. Well, look, people enjoying the glorious weather well into the evening, and can you blame them?
Not at all. James and James's hairy legs, thank you very much indeed.
Pip's with us now. Pip, another hot one. Is this record-breaking territory?
Oh, well, it certainly has been another scorcher. We could be in record-breaking territory, but perhaps not in quite the way we would imagine. So first up, let's take a look at the daytime temperatures. Now, the September record was set way back in 1906, 35.6 Celsius reached actually in South Yorkshire. Now, the last few days, we haven't really got quite close to that, but we've certainly eked above 30 the last couple of days, and with 3 days above our heatwave threshold of 27, we are now very much in heatwave territory. Where we might break a record is either tonight or tomorrow night. Now, the September overnight low record sits at 21.7 Celsius. That was set back in 1949 at St James Park. So if anywhere stays above that tonight, that will be a new record for the UK. And of course, anything over 20 Celsius is officially known as a tropical night, and no wonder, because it certainly does feel like it.
Now, not everybody likes these temperatures, particularly overnight. Is there an end in sight to them or not?
Yeah, There is, thankfully. If you're like me and you don't really like it, then there is a bit of an end in sight. Take a look at the current setup. So we've got high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west. What that means is we've got southerly winds bringing very warm, hot air up from the near continent. That will continue well into the weekend, but it looks as though early next week temperatures will start to take a dip. They will come hand in hand with something a bit unsettled though, but I think good news for some.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
So another scorcher of a day out there today for many of us, and more of the same through the next couple of days. Plenty of dry and fine weather, still feeling hot, and with light winds too, not even much respite from any kind of breeze. But there are signs of it coming to an end. The high pressure out towards the east will gradually drift away. Low pressure makes its presence a little more felt, and certainly towards the latter end of the weekend it looks as though we'll see some thundery downpours moving up from the south. But not so at the moment. For most of us, dry and clear conditions overnight. There's the chance of 1 or 2 showers just clipping western parts of Dorset, but they'll be pretty high level, so not much in the way of rain coming from them, but perhaps the odd rumble of thunder to be heard, maybe even the odd flash of lightning. And as we spoke about, it could well be an exceptionally warm night. Certainly some places likely to remain at or above 20 Celsius, giving us that tropical night. So very uncomfortable for sleeping, a very warm and sticky start to the day tomorrow. And with plenty more in the way of dry and sunny conditions, temperatures will zoom up the scale once again, and we're likely to see some places exceeding 30 Celsius as they have done today. These are the times of high water. Portland just the one there, 8 minutes past 12 in the afternoon. So a very quiet day tomorrow and similar conditions overnight into Friday. So we hold on to dry, largely clear weather. We could see once again 1 or 2 mist or fog patches cropping up if the winds are light enough. But as I said, a very quiet end to the working week, and it won't be until we get into the latter stages of the weekend that we could start to see signs of something a little different.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
In just a moment here, it's the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale. I've got your late news, so I'm not worrying about a tropical night. Air-conditioned it.
It'll be fine here. That is it from us for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.